I'm Austin Lugo.
I'm Andrew Harp.
I'm Shannon Mitchell.
This is With Nothing to Say.
Let's talk about all that jazz.
I realized that we didn't pick out a movie for next week. Andrew, have you seen Risky Business?
No,
Thoughts on Risky Business?
we can watch whatever you want.
Okay, we're going to watch Risky Business. It's fucking amazing. And I think you're going to like it. I genuinely think you'll like Risky Business.
You guys should watch Shall We Dance with a question mark.
Yeah, to round out the Shall We Dance cinema.
We could watch all of them. How many Shall We Dance? There's like 5 of them, aren't there? We should watch the whole Shall We Dance cinematic universe.
I think we should.
We had the opportunity to watch all the jazz. Yeah.
1979 movie. And yeah, it's the last musical film of the month, one that we all haven't seen. It's I suggested it because it's just one of those movies where when you go in Letterboxd, it's like very, very high curve, very like everyone really, really likes a lot. Pick it if you haven't seen it. Let's check it out. I understood that it was a movie directed by Bob Fosse, and it's basically a movie about him. It's an autobiographical film. It's semi-autobiographical, but nevertheless, it's a character based on him in the movie.
Yeah. It's so based on him that he was originally going to play the part of the main character, but the production company told him not to do that. They told him no.
Because he was gonna he was gonna die in the
He
middle
was.
of
He
it.
was going to die
Because he was going to have a serious heart attack.
He had already had a serious heart attack like months before, and he's like, I'm gonna play this, and they were like, no, because you're gonna die.
No, you will die immediately. Yeah, and of course this movie deals a lot with that, being sick, being in the hospital, open heart surgery. Bob Fosse had open heart surgery, and there's a scene here where he gets an open heart surgery. It's amazing. It's, once again, I have to stress, it's a semi autobiographical fantasy musical drama comedy. It's a lot. It's definitely one of the most unique movies I've ever seen, and it's excruciatingly personal. I can't think of anything else like it in terms of like, it's just very personal.
He's really putting it all out there. It's very meta. Of course, the movie that they keep referencing that he's working on, Comedian, is basically just the last movie that Bob Fosse did, right? Lenny?
Yeah,
Yeah.
which is biopic on Lenny. What's his name? Lenny something.
I don't remember
The
his
famous
name.
comedian guy.
The comedian guy, yeah.
Yeah, famous comedian who got in trouble a lot because he said curse words or something. Dustin Hoffman plays him in the actual movie. Yeah, it's like, so I guess like to set the movie up. The movie is kind of first of all, the movie, you have Joe Gideon. Joe Gideon is basically Bob Fosse. He's played by Roy Scheider. He is more known as like the Jaws guy, like the main character in Jaws, and he's very good in that movie. He's also really good in Sorcerer, which is a good William Friedkin movie. But he's very good in this movie. One of the greatest performances. He's really funny in it. He's really good. And yeah, he's Joe Gideon, and he's like a theater director. He's a choreographer. He's a filmmaker. The movie, at least the beginning of the movie, is him going back and forth between trying to like put on his like his new Broadway musical called like NY/LA, which in real life it was Chicago, while he's also trying to edit his film, The Stand-Up, which we talked about was Lenny. And so that's kind of like the kind of, not the opening scene, but like kind of like how the movie is at the beginning, is that he's going back and forth and he's kind of stretching himself in between two projects. But the opening in the movie is an incredible opening, like really, really good.
It's kind of hard at first to tell who's the main character because there's like a bunch of people. They're doing like a audition for this new musical, and he's running around on stage trying to figure out who are the best dancers and things like that. He's got really tall dance boots on. He kind of looks like a pirate. Yeah, he's dripping with the sauce. He, casts the show, and then he's like, all right, deuces, I got to get out of here.
Yeah, he leaves right away.
Yeah, he immediately goes to the cinema that they're editing the film in.
And it's taking a while. It's taking him a while to finish editing.
He's taken months to edit it.
He's like 7 months overdue.
It like took him a really long time to film it, and then now he's taking a really long time to edit it. And he like seems like he just absolutely hates it. He hates everything except for women and booze and smoking.
Yep, and his pills. He listens to Vivaldi in the morning.
Every morning, he turns on Vivaldi, he pops them pills, and he looks at himself in the mirror, waves his hands, does jazz hands, and he goes, "Showtime, folks."
You see that over and over again in the movie. It's probably like the only consistent thing that happens throughout the whole movie. It's like the most consistent thing in his life is that he has like this weird morning routine. But yeah, but I mean that opening scene, like you mentioned, like the way that is edited and looks is amazing. It feels really real. And he says in the interview that I watched, that he wanted to make it kind of look kind of documentary. Like it looks really real. Like it looks like a real like audition, where a bunch of actual, dancers, Broadway dancers in New York City are like trying to get this, role for the Bob Fosse musical, to get a job basically. It looks amazing. Like it's, I don't know. I just like how it looks. It feels very real, but
I was kind of surprised by the choreography in this film because none of it seemed overly Fosse to me, which maybe he did that on purpose.
What do you mean by that?
So Fosse has a very specific style. It's hard to describe. Have you ever seen Chicago?
Never. No.
You seen Cabaret?
I've never seen Cabaret. Never seen Cabaret. No.
Oh, damn.
You ever seen Pippin?
No, I don't.
Have you seen anything, Andrew?
Have you ever seen the SNL sketch about Liza Minnelli trying to turn off a lamp?
No, but I get the Liza Minnelli thing. I see what you kind of mean. Are you saying that maybe like it's less over the top or something like that?
His dance style is incredibly recognizable. I'll just say that it's hard to like describe it because there's quite literally nothing like it.
Interesting. Okay.
But as I was watching this film, until it gets to like that one rehearsal where they're like showing the producers the show, like a lot of the choreography doesn't feel like Fosse during the whole thing. And I'm assuming he would have choreographed it himself.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure he was one of the choreographers on the film.
I mean, I doubt he would be like, I'm going to have somebody else choreograph my film about me.
Yeah. It's my film about me. It's my me film.
His dance style is very particular, but I just didn't see very much of it in this, which he might have just done that on purpose. Maybe he was like, it's me, but it can't be like too much of me.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, maybe that's it. Maybe it's not the choreography of Bob Fosse, it's the choreography of Joe Gideon, which is a little bit different, I guess.
You see a little bit more of that like Fosse style and his like fantasy dreamscape at the end. You see a little bit more of that too. A lot of like hat movements and things like that. He loves a good hat.
He does love his.
He'll put a hat. He'll put a hat in anything. He'll do it. There's always like a woman that's like tilting her hat down over her eyes and like dancing.
I think that was very purposeful in the sense that, Joe Gideon, he doesn't know what he wants, and so like he keeps like struggling with it, and so like that choreography at the beginning, like kind of like not feeling Fosse-esque, I think is kind of purposeful because like when like he does lock down the different choreography styles, like it is very Fosse. So I think there is sort of, I mean, part of it, I think, Andrew, you're right, it's Joe Gideon, he's kind of placing like this avatar on top of him, but the other part is that like you're trying to show him trying to figure out like how he's supposed to choreograph this.
And the opening scene is also really good too, because we're introduced to, not only do we know how like Joe Gideon operates, but like you said, we're introduced to the producers and his ex-wife and his daughter. And his ex-wife is involved in the Broadway production. She's also a dancer, as she dances for us later in the movie. Yeah, I guess the movie itself doesn't have like a shit ton of dancing, like it's kind of, there's a ton of it at the end.
The main actor can't really dance because he like, even in the big dance numbers at the end, he's not the main dancer.
I don't think he's a dancer.
Can dance very well.
And Schreider said that was the hardest thing he's ever done in his whole life, was that performance. Like physically the hardest thing he's ever done.
Oh, that's good. Wow. I fucking love Schreider. He's super good in the movie. Like, I don't know. He's
great.
He's amazing.
Once again, like right away from the beginning of the movie, we know his deal, right? We know he's dependent on a bunch of substances, and we know that he is a bad person too. Like he's just not a very well. Saying that he's a bad person He's a womanizer. He likes having sex with a bunch of different women, including people other than his girlfriend. So like, yeah, like right away, like within the 20 minutes of the movie, he invites like a person that he auditioned to his place. And they have sex, and then his girlfriend walks in, and it's just like, oh fuck, like right away we kind of understand kind of his whole deal as a womanizer, which is kind of a big part of the movie, honestly.
When he's talking to her, they're like kind of having an argument, but they like decide to stay together. She's like crying, and she says, "I just wish you weren't so generous with your cock."
Yes, yeah.
One of the best lines of all time. It is a perfect line.
It's true. It's just like, because like even his ex-wife, they kind of argue and they kind of butt heads a little bit in the movie, but they don't really hate each other because they are creative partners, right? Like they don't really have like, they're not like, I fucking hate you, they're not like yelling at each other. It's really just like that problem that we just kind of laid out. That's really kind of the only thing that like,
And he just like works a lot. He's like a workaholic and he's a womanizer.
yeah, those are the main things that kind of probably separate him.
Makes it hard to be in a relationship with somebody who works all the time and then sleeps with other people.
And then you need like alcohol and like pills to keep yourself going every single day. And
I love when he brings the woman home back to like his apartment or wherever he brings her to, and she wants to be like this big like movie star, and she's like, do you think I'll ever be a movie star? And he's just like, no,
he's just,
no.
he doesn't give a shit. He doesn't care at all.
He doesn't give a fuck. And he's like, let's just have sex.
She's like, okay, I thought you were gonna say yeah, but.
And then they immediately have sex. Like that's the very next thing.
I mean, he got her a job even though she sucks. So, she sucks. It's laid out early on that this particular performer isn't like the best dancer.
Isn't as good at, well, she's like also kind of like tone deaf too.
Right. The producers mentioned that. Yeah, I forgot about that.
I think he said, with legs like that, how could you say no? Like he's like just thinks she's really hot.
Yeah. Yes, I forgot about that.
Fosse just like thinks she's hot. I mean, not Fosse. I mean, not Fosse, Joe Gideon.
Fosse probably really did that in real life.
Oh, I'm sure.
Probably. I'm sure.
I think I read that the girlfriend character in this movie, Katie, I believe that actor was actually sleeping with Bob Fosse.
Of course.
Like they had a relationship.
Of course.
Of course that way.
He's crazy motherfucker. It's probably worth mentioning now too that like intermittently throughout the whole movie, he's talking to this strange woman dressed in like a big dress, Jessica Lange. It's like an apparition or something like that. He's like in a club without explanation, really. It just keeps going in and out of him like talking to Jessica Lange.
It's like very fuzzy looking. She's so pretty. She's a pretty lady.
Just wearing all white. She's got like a white dress or like a robe kind of thing.
And it like kind of goes through his life. You figure out that he has childhood trauma because he was like sexually assaulted in a nightclub. Because I don't even know, like his mom, why was he there all the time? His mom worked there. His mom
worked there. He probably had just early on had an interest in song and dance or whatever, and work there. And
see, he wanted to be a star.
Yeah, and his mom is like, my Joe, he was just such a good boy. Spent so much time in the strip club, but never paid those ladies attention. And I was like, okay, well, you don't become the man that you are without paying them ladies attention.
Yeah, he has that like kind of like dream kind of memory sequence where he gets laughed at. He does like his little dance, but he's got like a stain in his pants. But yeah, he has like that. It's like a memory dream sequence, and he keeps talking to Jessica Lange, who is an angel, like an angel of death, the Grim Reaper, whatever. And they just kind of have like this ongoing conversation about like his life, just kind of him talking about like his relationship with the women in his life, including his girlfriend, his ex-wife, his daughter, his work, his past, what he wants to do, what he's doing now. And, it just kind of, they pop in to this part, again, occasionally.
They're like working on a new musical that is kind of like a weird version of Catch Me If You Can. It's like a flying, like a airplane musical something. I don't know. The first number that this guy is Paul. I love that guy.
Oh, the composer?
The composer who's supposed to be Steven Schwartz
I'm assuming that all these people more or less are based on real people, sort of.
So Steven Schwartz was the guy who wrote Pippin, and he wrote Wicked and Godspell. That's Steven Schwartz. Fosse and Schwartz did not get along, especially after Pippin, which is why that Paul character is like showed as like such a, I don't even know. He's like really nerdy and like just a big old geek.
Just lame.
He's lame. Yeah, he's lame. And the music is like horrible for this musical.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, this music really sucks. And then they were like, let's do like a showcase for the producers or whatever. And I was like, this is horrible.
You didn't like any of that stuff?
I thought it was really bad. I thought the music was especially bad. I mean, the dancing was like fine or whatever, but like the music itself was really bad in my opinion. So the name of the musical in the film is Erotica, like Airotica. And it's a super sexy flight.
I thought it was called NY/LA.
That might be the song, but like they say erotic. That might be, I don't know. One of these might be the song. I'm not sure. I think maybe the song's called Erotica, but there is something in it called Erotica.
They basically have simulated sex. It's like the choreography is like them like having sex.
Fosse loves orgies.
Really, he does?
He sure does.
There's like so many sex dances in, like there's a massive one in Pippin. There's like a whole 5 minutes dedicated to just simulated sex. But also like at this time, like, so in the orgy scene, actors are taking off their clothes and stuff, and there's like boobs out and stuff like that. Now it seems like really crazy that stuff would be on Broadway, but in the 1970s, I think it was the 1970s, there was a production of Hair. They got naked and like took off all their clothes and stuff like that. And it was like just like on stage. So like in the 70s, shit was different.
Yeah, she went off.
Different times.
But it's, I mean, the dancing's really good. The music itself is subpar.
It's fine. I think all like the dancing and music kind of, I think it all serves its purposes in this movie. I think like the music isn't, like you said, the music isn't amazing, but maybe that's just kind of.
But I'm not the music in the whole film, just this, like just the part where it's supposed to be the musical. Yeah, I like the music and through like in the last number and stuff like that. But I also feel like that part of the, because like throughout, it's like a kind of a storyline thing that like Gideon doesn't like the music.
Yeah, he's displeased.
Yeah, he's like, I can't believe like I have to choreograph things to this. So like I think it's also supposed to be a jab at Steven Schwartz again, that this music just absolutely fucking sucks.
I didn't know that. That makes the movie even better.
He's like, well, I guess I have to choreograph stuff to this bullshit music. There's also there's like another person in this film that's supposed to be another big Broadway person.
Is that the Jonathan Lithgow character?
Yeah.
Who is that supposed to be in real life?
He's supposed to be Michael Bennett, who is another choreographer and director, but he was a choreographer of Company, A Chorus Line, Dreamgirls, Follies, lots of things like that. So like at the time, probably Fosse and Bennett were like the two rival choreographers, and they did not like each other.
Very interesting.
Michael Bennett died pretty young too, as well, because he had AIDS. He died as like complications to AIDS.
I like that. I like the Jonathan Lithgow character. It really doesn't like serve like a huge purpose to the movie overall, but it just kind of fleshes out, I guess, the whole thing. You know what I mean? Like the world. Yeah, it just kind of like makes it more realistic. You know, it kind of also, I think, like maybe exposes some of Fosse's like own fears and like maybe things he's not too happy about when it comes to Broadway, of like, oh, well, I guess if our choreographer and director dies, we'll just find this other one that we can like. Yeah, all that stuff was like really like, whoa, this is crazy. Just like kind of like the complications of like losing like a key part of like a production like that. It's just kind of like when they have that meeting later on the movie where they're just kind of like, yeah, not Bob Fosse, but Gideon, if Gideon's in the hospital and he dies, you guys get your money back. You guys will actually make more money if he dies. And they're like, oh, okay.
It's like a producer situation. Like they're hoping for like a worst case scenario.
Yeah. It's that's what I thought it was going to happen, but they don't. It's real life. It's a real life movie. It's not like producers. They're kind of like smoozing with Jonathan Lithgow's character, right? And they're kind of like, maybe you should do it. And he's like, yeah, I should. It'll be really good. And here's all my notes and stuff. And it's like a book of notes that he gave for the.
I think, John Lithgow is great in everything he does, but even though his performance, it's small, but I think the value of it specifically in this is that a lot of this film is very first person-esque in the sense like it's all from the perspective of our main character, Joe Gideon. When you kind of like look back on the film, like you can almost consider the scenes that Joe Gideon isn't in as almost as if he's like kind of imagining them. Like it's not like necessarily that any of these scenes are actually taking place. It's more of like, this is what he thinks is going on, this is what he thinks is happening, because it's so like everything is so focused on the way he sees the world.
Yeah, that's kind of the appeal of the movie, is that it's how, you're right, like you said, it's a movie from the perspective of Gideon, and like he sees the world as he sees it. He thinks about the world. We get into kind of like his mind palace and kind of like explore it, right? Like we explore all of its like rooms and crannies or whatever. And yeah, that's kind of the appeal of the movie for me, in that like I think he properly makes a movie about himself. Fosse does. He kind of makes a movie where he's like, this is what it's like for me. You know what I mean? Like he basically, and he makes a movie too, ultimately about being afraid to die. Like that's basically what the movie is about. The movie is about ultimately like, I am terrified of like dying. And I've basically almost died several times now. So and I'm not really I don't want to change at all. Like I don't want to change my lifestyle at all. And that's just how it is, and he kind of confronts it, and it's really powerful. One of my favorite I think numbers in the movie is when his girlfriend and his daughter do that dance. That's like the most adorable, like
more hat cane dancing.
Yeah, his daughter is like the daughter actor is really good.
Very good performance.
Like it's like a good child actor. Yeah, everyone in it is really good though. So that's a good relationship in the movie, because there's nothing besides like him working too much. Like they have a good relationship. He has like a good relationship with his daughter. They really established the fact that like he really loves her and he loves him. He's not like horrible to her, except maybe that like he works too much and he can't spend as much time with her as he probably should. That's kind of interesting, because you could like make it seem like he resents his daughter, but he doesn't at all. He likes her a lot, and they like each other a lot. Yeah, that part is also very good and very fleshed out. It feels very real.
She's a good dancer though. She's a brilliant dancer.
Another good scene that I really liked was right before he has to go to the hospital, when he's reading the script with the actors and stuff.
The sound design of that scene is so good. You can't hear anything except for like the gnat noises that he is making. Oh my god, it's so good.
I'm guessing it's a combination of him being, one, preoccupied with his health, and two, he's probably cringy. He's probably cringing, right? Like he can't even like hear it, right? Like he kind of thinks it sucks, or he's embarrassed about it, or
he's having a heart attack or about to have a heart attack, but he also is like probably a little bit having a panic attack at the same time.
Yeah, you're probably right.
But like also trying to, because he's like in a professional setting and he obviously doesn't want to like distract from anything. Snaps a pencil in half behind his back.
That's all you hear. And everybody's like laughing and stuff. They're reading the script and they're laughing out loud.
They like love it. Yeah. And like nobody notices that he's like really going through it.
I think also too, there's maybe like an aspect to it where, when you get really successful, like I guess everybody kind of becomes like yes men, right? So I think that's also an aspect where everyone is trying to like please him and make him seem like he's doing a good job. So I think that's another aspect maybe why he's just kind of like cringing or is like upset. I think as you get late in your career or whatever, and you become more successful in whatever thing that you do, people around you just start to kind of like are just always approving you, you know what I mean? Just so they can get on your good side.
That scene is so good though.
It's so good. It's really good. I can't believe it.
Yeah, because it's like so much is happening. Like there should be a lot of noise, but it's almost completely silent.
I think the sound design for the whole film is just above and beyond. I mean, the way they like very early on, you can hear like sounds of the hospital, even like when like they're just doing like normal tasks, and the way they'll kind of like butt those in, and the way you can kind of like figure out what's going on beforehand, or just, I mean, even the way they'll like converge like the sounds of like the area and then like the musical number that's going on. I mean, the sound design is just incredible from beginning to end. It's just every second of it.
I think it's worth noting too that the movie is basically like in two halves. You have the half that's not in the hospital and the second half, which is in the hospital. That's more or less how the movie is broken up.
The open heart surgery was a real open heart surgery. I think it is real because one, it's so realistic. It's so realistic. And I'm like, there's no way that feasibly they could have done this. This cannot be fake. There's no way that they made it look so realistic. I don't know. It's like it's the 1970s.
I gave a quick look and I think it is real.
And in the credits, they say open heart surgeon, doctor, etc., etc. And they have like a whole part of the end credits. I think it was just an open heart surgery that they just like filmed for like educational reasons or something.
That's such a fucked up surgery to do because like, you know, like the heart is like moving, you know what I mean? Like it's beating like a lot, like it's moving like a lot. So it's like, and I feel like if you do any kind of interruption of that beating, it's like going to really fuck you up, you know, like you like have a heart attack. Yeah. It's probably a very difficult surgery on everyone involved. Yeah. I can't remember the last time I saw a movie that had like a real surgery in it. I'm sure I've seen him before, you know, during his recovery after the surgery, he's partying it up. He's fucking going nuts. You know, of course, early on, they tell him like, you have to be in the hospital for like a month or you will die. You're going to die. And he's like, for a month, like I got the play, I got the music, I got the show and the move. Like, I can't do that, you know? And they're like, you will die. That's about it. It's as simple as that.
I love when all of the doctors get together and they're like, this guy just doesn't give like a shit. Yeah, they have like a big like meeting and they're all like, what do we do? He just doesn't give a shit. And he's like, why should we? And he's like, oh, it's our jobs. We're doctors. But Joe Gideon doesn't give a shit. And how do you deal with that as a doctor when like your patient like just does not care about living?
You can't, because like everything that you could do, it is in their right as a patient to say no to it. It's insane. But I do love that part. He like simultaneously snaps out of it, but also like gets worse at the same time. He's like, I'm gonna die soon, but I don't want to die in a hospital. Like he's like, I don't really want to die like this. So he like gets up and he's like wandering around the hospital. And that's where like the end, like 20 minutes of the film happens.
Right before he leaves, you get one of the final numbers, which is his you know, the women in his life. They do all those numbers in a row, which is also really good. It's like, you know, once again, you know, it's his ex-wife, his girlfriend, his daughter, and they basically do like 3 different dance numbers for him, basically.
That's like the most Fosse part of like the whole film.
And each number is about one of the 3 women is like the lead for each number. So like the first one is the girlfriend, or is the first one his wife?
I think the first one is the ex-wife, then it's the girlfriend.
And then it's the girlfriend. And then of course the final one is his daughter, who again, just incredible all the way through.
And there's 2 Joe Gideons. There's Joe Gideon, the bedridden, sick one, and there's Joe Gideon, the choreographer director. In the whole thing, the director, Joe Gideon, is like, did you like it? Was that good? Should we print it? Should we print it?
Yeah, or you missed your part. You're supposed to say, I don't want to die.
But I love when he's like, should we print it? I think we should print it. And he like doesn't say anything. And he's like, all right, guys, just print it. Like
fix it in post.
Yeah, I'll just print it. Yeah, let's go. All those like numbers are amazing looking. They look crazy. They look so like this shit is off the wall. Like very creative, very weird. In the background, there are these towers and they have like sheets, and behind the sheets, you can tell like they're hospital beds. And like then the second one, that all 3 of the girls, they like dress up like in these weird costumes that have all these like ribbons on them, right? And like I could never come up with something like that. Oh, one of my favorite lines on the movie is when he's being carted away. I don't remember where it is, but he's being carted away and he's like in the hospital like to go to surgery or something, and he imagines like his like wife and his ex-wife and his girlfriend next to him instead of like the nurses, and he's like, you know, if I die, I'm sorry for all the things I did to you, and if I live, I'm sorry for all the things I'm gonna do to you.
I think it's right before he's taken to surgery.
Yeah, that line is really good, just because it's like, you know, once again, it's kind of just once again like a complete confrontation of just how much he just kind of sucks, you know. And
He knows he sucks and he's not going to change no matter what. He's sorry about it, but he's not going to do anything. He's just going to continue to be.
it's kind of like he probably like it looks at it as like, you know, at this point, you know, me being myself has gotten me a lot of great opportunities and stuff, you know what I mean? Like, and if I were to subdue that or change that, then I wouldn't be myself anymore. But once again, you know, not obviously his decisions and the things that he does aren't really what you would say moral a lot of the time. You know, once again, he kind of is not very nice to, you know, well, I wouldn't say maybe not very nice, but you know, he's just not, he's a womanizer, like we discussed, and he's just complicated and
He's a very real character. He's a very real character.
very real. And of course, you know, as we talked about the number we just talked about, basically all the numbers are basically just saying like, you're gonna die, we love you a lot, but you're gonna fucking kill yourself if you keep doing what you're doing, and you know, you made a lot of mistakes and all this stuff. So, you know, and once again, it just it resonates with him, with that character, with Gideon, but it's not like it's almost too late anyway.
I love when he like wanders into, I'm assuming it's the cafeteria, like the hospital cafeteria or whatever, and he meets Tiger. I love that character. He's in the film for like 5 minutes or less. He probably has less screen time than that. But I love him. He's just like a custodian. And he's like chill, and he's like not worried about Gideon, which I think is probably what Gideon like needed. He didn't want somebody to be like, oh, you need to go back to bed, you're gonna die, vibing. And Gideon was like, oh, sing that song one more time, and Tiger just like kept singing it, and they were just like vibing.
He's so good. Yeah, that scene is very sweet. It's a very sweet scene. That whole part of the movie, like you said, he's wandering around the hospital. He's basically like, I don't know, drugged or something. Like that's how he acts.
I think he's just so close to dying that he's like delusional. He's just can't, his body's sort of failing him already, so he can't quite like function normally. But he like hits his head against something and then like drags his head against the wall, and then there's just like a streak of blood like going down a hospital wall.
And this whole time, the doctors are like, we can't find him. How did you lose him? Cannot figure out like where this very clearly,
he's leaving traces everywhere.
Like very obvious this man does not belong there.
They didn't page anyone in the hospital. They were like, we'll find him eventually, I guess, but nobody else in the hospital needs to know. And then he dies.
He fucking dies. And yeah, like right before he dies, you know, of course he has a beautiful dream where he imagines he's on this show that he keeps watching in the hospital. It's like this variety show, and the guy always, when he introduces the musical guest, he says the same thing where he says like, he's a great friend of mine of 25 years, humanitarian, incredibly talented,
an artist, a humanitarian, and my friend for 25 years. And like he knows it, but like when it introduces him, it's hilarious. He's like definitely not a good friend
to anyone.
Somebody I wouldn't call a humanitarian. Yeah, it's like so funny.
Like, yeah, he's really like not a great guy, but you know, he was a guy, you know.
He was a guy.
That whole concluding number,
spectacular,
is amazing.
It's the best thing. And the music is like phenomenal too. Like the song itself is really good. I like all of the music except for the one like in the musical, because I think it's supposed to kind of be bad. That song,
you know, you have this last scene where you have like the two women, they're dressed up in like these, like they have, you can see their like veins, they're like bodysuits with veins on them. I think it's like a heart thing, you know, and
like an anatomy.
Like, yeah, the whole song is basically just like something, I think I'm gonna die or something like that. Once again, it's just the acceptance. It's the, you know, the stages of grief or whatever you might want to call it. Like, it's his acceptance musical number in which he basically understands that he is about to die. He is going to die. It's the song is basically like, you know, saying it out loud, and everyone he's ever known, it looks amazing. It's so fucking good. And like you said, the music is great. The song is great. I don't know if Scheider actually sang the song. Did he actually sing the song?
I don't know. I mean, his voice is good, but his voice isn't like superb. So like his voice is like just good enough to like sing it, but it doesn't sound like it was somebody else, you know? Like they were like, oh, his voice sucks, so we're gonna get somebody who can sing really good.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think he probably did sing it, honestly, now that I'm thinking about it. It's a sad song, but it's a happy song. It's a song of acceptance, but it's done in the kind of the glamorous style, of that time. And yeah, it's just it's a bittersweet moment. And it's unbelievable. I'm very impressed by it. He says bye to everyone, he kisses everyone. And of course, I think it has maybe one of the greatest like endings of any movie ever made, in that after the dance scene, more like the Jessica Lange, the devil, not the devil, like the Grim Reaper, the angel of death. He basically walks down this hall and she's like right there at the end, basically passing over into the next stage. And I think like what they like touch each other, or like something happened. Like I forget like what Jessica Lange does. He walks over into like another door or something like that, and it just fucking cuts. And it cuts to fucking Gideon on a slab, and they zip him up. And like right after they zip him up, they fucking play "There's No Business Like Show Business," sang by Ethel Merman.
There's no business like show business.
That's unbelievable. I couldn't believe that shit. Oh my god,
fucking incredible.
It's so good.
Yeah, that's it. Like you're gonna die. You know what I mean? There's no business like show. And that's it. It just ends like that. You don't even get to see the reactions of like his like family or friends or anything. Like you don't.
Anybody.
Well, nuh-uh, because he's dead.
That's true. Like when
how is he gonna know?
No, you're right. That's exactly that's the thing. Like a stupid movie would do that. It would be like, oh no, like oh no, no, you're right. He's dead, and the movie is from his perspective.
It's just over,
and that's it. You're done. It's over.
So when I started watching this movie, I was unaware that it was a Bob Fosse movie. I kept watching it and going, this really reminds me of Cabaret. Like this has very similar feels to Cabaret. And it wasn't until like well into the movie that I realized that it was, of course, Bob Fosse who directed Cabaret, which is the only Bob Fosse movie I've seen, I think. But it's, one of his most iconic, and obviously you can get a lot of Bob Fosse out of Cabaret. I did not like Cabaret when I first saw it. I saw it when I was in high school, so like probably like 9 or 10 years ago now. But All That Jazz, honest to God, probably one of my favorite musicals of all time. Like it's like Little Shop of Horrors, Singing in the Rain, All That Jazz. Like it's a fucking top 3. And I fucking love musicals like more than like anything else. And All That Jazz, just from the very moment it starts to like all the way through. I mean, the performances, the music, the fucking choreography, the look of it, everything is just like so perfect. I mean, even like the lighting and like how it's like has these like really kind of like sharp and kind of like brutal lighting of like that kind of 70s 80s era, and which is very Bob Fosse, of course. So wonderful and so amazing. And I have nothing but praise for the film. I mean, I'm genuinely excited to watch this film again. And I don't watch a lot of movies more than once, but this movie was just such a blast. And honestly, one of my favorite films of all time. It's been put on the list. It's there. I don't know how to not give this a 10 out of 10. I mean, it's just fucking brilliant. Fucking brilliant.
Yeah, I mean, I loved it a lot too. I mean, I liked it. I mean, it was really fucking good. I'm completely unfamiliar with Bob Fosse, but I like a good movie like this. I don't really care if it's a musical or not, but the fact that it is a musical makes a lot of sense, of course. I just really like that kind of like personal kind of autobiographical element to it that really, really makes it a very special and very intense and interesting. And it's funny. I feel like we really only scratched the surface of the movie. We talked a lot about it, but I feel like there was a lot of stuff that we really didn't go over, which is fine. But it's really because it really is like every scene is like really interesting and it has something interesting going on, whether it be like funny dialogue, good dancing, good acting, good editing, really good editing. There's like too much to really like point out and kind of admire. Yeah, I agree. I think I really got to watch it again. I think I will give it like a 9 out of 10, but man, like it is like this close, man. It's like I just feel like I need to watch it like again and to like really, really kind of like just like watch it maybe like a second time, maybe a third time, and like really kind of like pay attention. And I think I'll like get more out of it. But yeah, 9 out of 10, but like it's like this fucking close, you know what I mean? So really good.
I like Fosse. Fosse is such an interesting choreographer and director. And it was nice to see his, even if it wasn't like explicitly Fosse choreography until it got to sort of those dreamier aspects of the film. It was nice to see his style rooted in something so realistic, because I mean, you can get more realistic musical theater. Like there are definitely shows that are more rooted in realism, but generally musical theater is not super keen on being absolutely realistic. And like majority of his shows, Cabaret, Chicago, Pippin, things like that, they're not like super realistic. And it was nice to see like his blend of realism and sort of fantasy dreamscapes. It's such a beautiful film, like visually, auditory wise, it's a gorgeous film. And also just the writing, everything is so good. Knowing about like Broadway at that time, it was even better. Like knowing who everyone was supposed to be, and like being able to laugh at like those sort of interpersonal relationships that Fosse had, that he sort of portrayed on screen. I don't know. I really love this film. Out of the films that we watched this month, it's my favorite. I have literally, like Austin said, I have nothing but praise for this film. And I think I'm also going to give this film a 10 out of 10. It's just so good.
Yeah, it's easily the movie that we all, I think, can agree is like fantastic. At least, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Yeah, it's
I think it was the perfect blend of all of our sort of interests and personalities in one film.
All right, y'all. Thank you for listening. To get early access, exclusive content, and so much more, go to patreon.com/lifethroughfiction. That's patreon.com/lifethroughfiction. And you can find anything I do at Austin Lugo 12.
Find me on Twitter at 80harp24. I'm also on Letterboxd at RetroAndrew, RETR0 Andrew.
And thank you, Shannon, for editing this episode, as you always do.
And being the guest star.
And being our guest star. We're going to miss you. You're going to be gone next week. It's just me back to the two of us. It's going to be
boring.
It's going to be sad.
I bet your listener, like the amount of listeners are going to drop drastically.
All right, y'all. Until next time.
Thanks.